All right, everyone, and welcome to True Bread. My name's Todd, coming to you live again here tonight, unfortunately, for a critical emergency Bible study that was not planning on giving at all. Just has to be done tonight. It's about 9 o'clock here in Virginia, 9 p.m. It's March 13th, 2026. I'm extremely tired. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been in this infinite loop of news, Bible study, editing, posting, and very little sleep. I'm getting all the sleep I need. I feel pretty good right now, but the fatigue is building up, and it's happening because of what is going on nonstop in the world. And literally, once again, I was just getting ready to get dinner. It's the truth. I was waiting 8 o'clock, and I was going to go to the store, and I'm just sitting there. And I'll go through my phone and go through X like everyone else does, especially considering what's going on. And I've got people texting me, telling me things, and I'm like, hey, let me take a look at that. And so I did, and I just got on there, and I'm running out of words to describe Donald Trump. He's an absolute madman, insane, going crazy. That's my own personal observation. And then not to mention what everyone else is saying about Donald Trump online, and my friends and my family. So he and I have been editing the studies. I just caught up tonight, finally. And I thought I was going to have a night off and relax and try to do a study tomorrow, because it's the 7th day of the week now. The sun has gone down. Nope. So I've learned to take these Bible studies on as they need to be done, and tonight is one of those nights. I'm sitting there, and here comes X and Trump and saying we are obliterating Kharg Island right now as we speak. I just saw it. I just saw this at 8 o'clock. It's 9:15. No telling what's going on. I know that we launched B-52s either from here or I think from England. They flew from here to England, and then same with the B-2 bombers, and we have F-15s and F-35s. Not to mention all the destroyers and the submarines launching cruise missiles that can fly hundreds and hundreds of miles and hit whatever you put in there. So Trump threatened to do this. And first he said, and this dangerous, same with Pete Hegseth. I'm running out of words for these people. This guy's extremely dangerous. First of all, this guy, Pete Hegseth, reminds me of a stupid, drunk frat boy. And Trump, doing The Apprentice and everything he's doing, he likes pretty people. Pete Hegseth's one of these pretty boys from Fox News that Trump just... I didn't even know who the guy was until he was selected by Trump. And I'm like, what is this guy doing up here? And then I watched people like Douglas McGregor and Larry Johnson and Colonel Larry Wilkerson online in their podcasts. And they're all saying, this guy is way over his head. He has no idea what he's doing. He's coming out and saying, we're going to kill everybody in Iran. He just said this. Didn't want to be in their shoes. We're going to wipe them out. And then he said, well, if you're an oil tanker in Hormuz, it's not closed, just go through it. But you may get hit by an Iranian missile. But it doesn't mean the strait's closed. You just may get blown up to bits with millions of gallons of explosive oil hit by an Iranian missile. Oh, but it's okay to go through there. See, they expose themselves by the words coming out of their mouths, how crazy they are. Iran has made it perfectly clear. You know, I'm not a military person. I'm not a soldier. Okay, been around military a lot of my life. It's like, okay, they're obliterating Tel Aviv and Haifa and taking out the airports and the oil refineries in Palestine, in the Zion land, and they're doing what they said they were going to do, and they've got a non-stop supply of missiles, and they said, that's Kharg Island. See, you learn these things, like, I didn't know where Ukraine was on a map until the Ukraine war 4 years ago, whatever it was. You know, that's what you learn these things. I didn't know where Kharg Island was. It's right there in the strait. And apparently, the Iranians use Kharg Island, it's Kharg, Kharg Island, to distribute 90% of their oil. Now, by attacking, apparently they're demolishing Kharg. It's not that big of a place. It's like a terminal with a runway, and it's a small island, and I guess it's got terminals for tankers to come up and get oil. It would take them 30 minutes to wipe the whole thing flat out and eliminate everything on the surface. So that's probably already happened. So what is going to happen to all those nations, like in Europe maybe, and Japan, and South Korea, and China, who depend on a lot of that oil coming out of that choke point? Now there's two. There's one in the Red Sea with the Houthis control from Yemen. I have to learn about this now. I just studied it today. I've known about it, but I was doing more detail. That's where the fort is, or it was. They could just, that. I don't want to talk about that. So, and then you got Red Sea and you got the Persian Gulf. Well, they've got these straits that can constrict oil. It's just the way the creators made it. It's perfect. If you look at the image on a chart, on a map, like a satellite view, you can see how perfect they are for controlling the flow of oil. And that's what Iran's doing. And the Yemen, the Houthis are doing that. And the Houthis have warned, Yemen has warned, okay, you want another choke point? Well, here you go. They can close that whole thing down, no problem. Doesn't matter about the Suez Canal. Those oil tankers have to go all the way around the Horn of Africa now and go all the way out through the Atlantic and go through the storms and add 4 to 6 weeks delivery time. You know what that's going to do to Europe and Japan and South Korea and maybe even China? And now Trump is attacking. Can you imagine being an ally of Trump in Europe? They're already fighting back. The Italians are fighting back. The French. I think the French and Great Britain said today, we're not supporting this, man. You got to stop. You're going insane. It's like I said, Trump's losing his mind. Hegseth losing his mind. They are insane, literally. Of course, that's biblical prophecy. Those are the people that you would expect to be in those jobs, and they are. It's like Benjamin Netanyahu, just stand by. Iran has said, okay, all right, don't do it. Don't hit Kharg Island. But if you do, man, they're going to unleash holy hell in the Middle East. No telling what they're doing right now. And no telling what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. That Iran is going to retaliate. And they've said, and they've already warned in the past, and they've retaliated in the past, and they said, don't do this, or we will retaliate. They know all the weak points all around the whole area. It hasn't got to be military bases. It could be desalinization plants. It could be a pipeline in the middle of nowhere. It could be a bank. They've already said they're going to start taking out banks because the Zionists attacked their bank in Tehran, so now they're going to do the same thing. They just shut the whole entire financial system down. No telling about the underwater cables that carry internet. I guarantee you know all of those spots. All the underwater pipelines that carry oil and natural gas and whatever. The food supplies are being shut down. The ships can't get out with fertilizer, with rare earths. It's not just oil, people. No. We here in this country, the United States of America, where I'm sitting, we don't even need that oil. But they're going to jack the prices up no matter what. They are. They already are doing that. And with that, it takes weeks. If you buy a barrel of oil, it takes like 4 to 6 weeks or longer to change the price at the pump because the barrel of oil went up over here. I mean, I did have a student industry, oil industry. He told me something I never knew, that this guy was Oklahoma City. He had been in the oil industry. He said all of our oil goes underground in pipelines. Get your mind around it. You think Iran doesn't know that about the Middle East? And they're fighting back. And they have hypersonic missiles. And they have Russia and China technology. I do not know if Russia and China gave them missiles, but I know they gave them defensive systems. And I know they give them intel for tracking, geolocation, and where to target. Targeting information like we give to Ukraine. Right? It's okay if the United States and NATO gives Ukraine targeting information, but Russia and China, no, you can't give that to Iran. That breaks our international laws, our international norms. You can't do it. It's okay if we do it though. You see what I'm saying? The hypocrisy? That's insanity. That's insanity. Okay? Why I'm sitting here, of course you've heard me say this, you already know why I'm sitting here tonight. This is an emergency broadcast, an emergency Bible study. I've got to warn my family and my friends. And I've been contemplating for the last 48 hours, how am I going to contact all of my family? I have a letter ready to write in my head, ready to go. I've had it for months. Like, hey, this is it. This is really happening. I'm your big brother. I love all of you very much. I want to protect every single one of you. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. You've got to pay attention and don't be afraid. That's the point of tonight. Don't be afraid. Be aware. We know these things are going to happen, and they are. I have to give these Bible studies, edit the Bible studies, and watch what I said, and I keep hearing myself say the same thing. Don't be afraid. It's prophecy. It's going to happen, and it is happening, exactly like this book says, sitting on this desk, which I've been covering into my 22nd year now, which no one else is saying, that I am not making that up. I'm not trying to get credit or flattery or money or people follow me. No one is saying what I'm saying on this entire planet, and I don't know why. I can't even figure it out. People are starting talking about the temple being blown up, the dome being blown up. There I go again. If I mix up temple and dome, I'm sorry. They're going to blow the dome up, okay? Now you got Tucker Carlson talking about it. You got Paul Craig Roberts talking about it. You got Douglas McGregor talking about it. You got Clayton on the redacted talking about it. Everybody and your pet dog knows they're going to blow the dome up. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I did a 2.5-hour emergency Bible study on this, like the temple location and what's going to happen. I just finished it. I made 2 complete edited videos for that to make it as good as I could. Now I do get pumped up a little bit sometimes. I know that. This is serious stuff, though. The day is here, the time is out. If there was ever a time to be loud and pumped up, this is it. Now, I'm pretty mild-mannered and calm in the aircraft. I'm not given to hyperbole. I'm not given to exaggeration. I get tired of prophecy. I said it last video. It's just drama to me. The reason I want to, you have to talk about it, because here's Donald Trump, King of North, bombing Kharg Island, No telling what's going to happen within the next, now we're down to 36 hours or less, because the warning that the Muslims put out, that they made a post, an article, warning, said, hey, the Zionists are moving their people. This is what happened. This is how they got caught. The Muslims caught them, as far as I know. They're evacuating their people around the Temple Mount, the so-called Temple Mount, which is the Fort Antonia. I'm beating that to death. And the Muslims caught them. So what are you doing? And then they put 2 together, and got missiles flying over Jerusalem. So, and I've said this for years. Since like 2007 on live TV, people. I'm not making that up. I said, hey, they're going to blow that dome up. They got to get rid of it somehow. So I kept thinking to myself, how are they going to do it? They're not going to blow it up with dynamite, because that'd be too obvious. They could do like this is what I'm beginning to, because I lived in 9/11 as an airline pilot. I know all about 9/11. That's a complete inside job. They blew those buildings up. If you can't look at World Trade Center 7, I've asked people, I don't know how many, I won't say hundreds, but dozens and dozens and dozens of people, how many buildings collapsed on 9/11, and what does everyone say? Right? 2. No, that's not 2, it's 3. They blew them up. No one even talks about World Trade Center 7. You can just watch it come straight down. You got experts, engineers, architects saying, oh yeah, that's a controlled demolition. They showed people Building 7 coming down, and they didn't tell them what it was, and these controlled demolition experts said, yeah, we know what that is. That's how we do that. And they didn't know that was from World Trade Center 7. They were just asking them their opinion. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm an expert on controlled demolition. That's how we demolish big buildings. And it goes, shoop, straight down. People, they blew the buildings up. Come on, give me a break. God, the day of 9/11, which the media hates, they interviewed eyewitnesses who said, right, and I don't think the media and the beast power realize that they're letting the cat out of the bag, going, yeah, look, boom, 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 right down the side of the building. Yeah, we heard it, and people were in the building in the lobby. The lobbies blew out before the planes hit. See, I could go on and on, people. I'm not going to do that. What I'm trying to say is, I think, possibly, the Mossad and whoever, man, they're some pretty sneaky, clever people. They could have that whole entire platform wired for an explosion. No doubt in my mind. I was just thinking today, first time in my thought process, they could blow the whole thing up, the whole Fort Antonia. That's the whaling, where the Wailing Wall is. They call it the Temple Mount. It's not the Temple Mount. That's a Roman fort. Does not matter. It's not. Does it have no basis for salvation at all? I just study it. That's a Roman fort. They could just blow the whole thing up. Now there's some really huge, massive rocks in there that they may not be able to explode with dynamite, but they could fake. The scenario is Iran shooting their missiles into Jerusalem, and the Zionists shoot up a Patriot or whatever and hit one of the missiles, and the missile comes down on the dome. That's what those are not my words. That's what the Muslim they put out like an emergency press release a couple days ago or last week. So this is what they're going to do, and it's coming up on Quds, QUDS day. That's March 15th. That's like 36 hours away. And then we have Trump attacking Kharg Island when Iran said, don't do that or else. Sometimes when I'm doing these Bible studies, okay, I say things that I cannot prove 100%. And I'm about to do that right now. But with this AI nonsense over the last year or so, I've learned, I've been burned. I've sent my friends stuff with my family. I'm like, and I look like you look like an idiot. It's like, I can't believe that's AI. I can't believe it's a lie. What I'm saying is, there are people, I've heard this for the last 4 days now, that they killed Benjamin Netanyahu, okay? And he came out and made that speech about the Messiah, and we're never going to stop, and it's going to go on indefinitely. And that was AI. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you can see by his hands, he's got 6 fingers, and his teeth are missing. And it's just, people can just say that's AI. They can identify it now. So what I'm trying to say, what I've been reading all day, and I've been afraid to even say this, they say Benjamin Netanyahu's dead. I saw like 5 sources before I sit down that they killed him and his brother. Now, I cannot prove that, okay? But when I started seeing completely separate, different sources from all over the world saying, and especially people there saying he's dead, and they put out this AI video and no one's seen him for 4 or 5 days, and no one knows where he is, he will not come out and definitively say, hey, I'm alive. They're saying he's dead. They got him. Now, I do not know that. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm reading. Okay, do you understand? To me, well, I've got to be careful what I say. It's not going to make any difference if you ask me overall what's about fixing to happen, because Trump is not controlled and never has been controlled by Benjamin Netanyahu. To me, it's the other way. I just said that in the video. It's the other way around. Trump's a complete Zionist. Him and Kushner and Ivanka, they're Lubovichers. They're waiting for Schneerson to come. They literally say this, people. I'm not making it up. They're waiting for this old rabbi, dead Rabbi Schneerson, to come back to life physically, right? This is what the Shabbat Lubavitchers believe. He's going to go into the new temple. Do you understand? Put the pieces together. Trump doesn't need Benjamin Netanyahu to believe that. He goes way back. He's been given awards and all the rabbis. Look at Mark Levin hanging on him, slobbering him. You're our first Jewish president. Got nothing to do with Netanyahu. I get sick of hearing that. Look, this is like, you know, I went through this with Fauci, okay, and Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab. And, you know, you develop this vile, deep-seated hatred of these people. And I started thinking to myself, I was like, wait a minute, that's wrong to think that way, because why? Right? The Creator is using human beings to fulfill biblical prophecy, and they are. It's like Fauci with the shot, and Bill Gates and, you know, euthanasia and carbon and, you know, let's block the sun, let's spray chemicals in the air. I mean, that's like reading Revelation 6, the 7 seals. It is, literally. So I'm thinking to myself, don't, like, I can't, I don't want to say that I hate Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know the guy. But that's wrong because, you know, like Trump. You know, I've seen Trump's plane pull right in front of me with Trump on it. I didn't meet him, but my friends did, saw him at Newark Airport one night. And, you know, I've seen Trump's plane all over the place. I know, like I said, I have a career in aviation. I know all about Trump flying and airlines, all that. He owned an airline. So I started thinking to myself, wait, you know, that's not correct. Because someone's got to fulfill biblical prophecy, like Judas Iscariot. He had to be there. I don't know the full story on that situation with the Messiah and Judas Iscariot. Someone had to do it, and Judas Iscariot was the guy. It's like someone's got to be the king of the north, and Donald Trump is the guy. Too bad for him. You know, I talked to the Creator about it, not me. You know, when the Elohim come back and the Messiah comes back, you can ask those questions. I don't have the answer. The answer I have is someone's going to do it, and it's these people, and Trump's doing it, and you always know the proof is always in the pudding. The facts cannot deny themselves. That's why Satan can't hide. There it is. I remember years ago, like Lady Gag, whatever her name is, like that is, you know, Satan uses entertainment tremendously to influence society. I'm like that. I mean, she's a demon. You know, what else can you say? I mean, she's like Satan's got like a direct link right into her mind. The first time I didn't know who this chick was until the first time she came up. Because I don't watch MTV or music. I don't even have a TV. And I said, that woman's possessed by Satan, the devil. And she is. And she's a conduit. That's like Trump. Like Benjamin Netanyahu. Satan can't hide, right? That's his ego, out of control. You know, I'm not going to try to go into the mind of Satan and Lucifer and figure out what his problem is. That's his problem. He's going to be destroyed. Satan, Lucifer was the archangel over everything, under the Father, over the Messiah, over all the angels, everybody. And he rebelled. And he turned dark, and he lost his mind. And that's what we're seeing, the fruit. I guess my point is, you look at Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, if he's still alive, and Lady Gaga, whoever you want to pick, Fauci, Gates, Klaus Schwab, all these lunatics doing these things, you can see Satan in them. That's what it says in Revelation 13. Satan will enter them, and entered Judas Iscariot. It's like entering Lady Gag, entering Donald Trump, entering Netanyahu. Satan has the power of transmission of thought, in my opinion, prince of power of the air, it says, to influence, and that's why we have prophecy. I said it last video. Adam and Eve ate that fruit. Here we are, tonight, March 13th on the Gregorian calendar. I'm trying to get to that. I'm going to keep going until I fall over, because this is super critical, what I'm getting ready to say. So here we are on this pagan Gregorian calendar. They have that all completely whacked out. Like if you just scratch the surface on the calendar, you will not believe what you're reading. So, but I'm not going to go down that path right now. So, no telling how long ago the Garden of Eden was. I was taught, I was raised, it was 6,000 years ago. I cannot prove that from Scripture at all. I have formed in my own mind within 8,000 to 10,000 years ago, because they find stuff about that old. They find human remains that are like 100,000 years old. I'm talking human jawbones. So something was going on the earth here, and the megaliths I talked about, long before Adam and Eve were here. There were humans on this planet, humanoids. I don't know. I do not know, okay? Except for the fossils they find. I'm talking about from Adam and Eve till tonight. And here we are, because they bit that fruit. That's just the way that it is, man. Look. I mean, read Scripture, read the stories, look at what's going on in current events, identify the people, and go, yep, there it is. Like I said last time, I just finished editing Beast Rising, right? Someone made an AI of Trump standing in the Persian Gulf like this 100-foot tall giant, right? Just smashing Iranian ships and tearing them apart and stuff. It's like, there's the beast rising up out of the water right there. I mean, the people who made the AI of that probably have no idea that Donald Trump is the king of the north, and he's going to rise up out of the sea, and it's in the Persian Gulf, and this big Trump thing is destroying Iranian ships. People, if I had the power of AI and knew that stuff, I couldn't even have come up with something that good. That is just off the hook. And he's got his hair, his suit, his red tie, his white shirt. It's Trump, you can tell. Of course, it looks like a cartoon. It doesn't matter. The point is there. The point is valid. That's that beast rising up out of the sea, like I said. I used to tell my dad, Lord bless his soul, and my mom, can't wait to see again. I would tell my dad, say, hey, Dad, I'm going to go, because down here in downtown Richmond, we have the WTVR tower. It's like 900 feet tall. It's the biggest tower. Well, I think it was like the biggest tower in the country for when it was built. I said, I'm going to go down there and get a microphone, and I'm going to get up on the top of that tower, and I'm going to scream as loud as I can, this is the beast power. And what are the people down below going to say? Jump, jump, jump. That's what their reaction is going to be. They think I was crazy. They would want me to jump off the tower for entertainment purposes. Do you see what I'm saying? You can't get through to people. Try. Now, if you're sitting with me in an aircraft, mano a mano, I'll get through to you, or you will be terminated. It's that simple. I can't do that here with True Bread. I mean, I used to be I'm the bigger brother. I had so much compassion and concern for certain people in my family that I would fight and argue with. That's been years. That's been a decade. I'm done with that. I tried. I have tried, and I still try to this very day. I'm probably going to try tonight, especially when I write my letter that I have to send to everybody in my immediate family. The letter is going to be from my immediate family. I have 3 sisters and a brother. I can't even count how many nephews and nieces I have. Then I grew up with my relatives in Illinois and Missouri. I got hundreds of them. And then I have all my friends from flying, and all my friends from college, and all of my friends that I know, and strangers. I'm going to make it available to everybody. Like, my Bible studies are open to mankind. My family knows what I do. They all know what I do. My mom and dad made this possible. They supported me while they were both alive from day one, 2005. And before then, we're talking, I was my mom and dad, 1968, got me going on this path. If I can find the book here, just real fast, bear with me. Right here, I'm showing you this. 1975 in prophecy. That's why I'm sitting at this table. I read this in 1968. Okay? That's how long. And my mom and dad, put me on this path with my sister and my brother. And then later, 2 more sisters. And now, no telling how many, I can't even count my nephews and nieces. Literally. And I don't know them all because some people have moved away and they have kids and they have kids. I'm just like, wow, who are? And especially my relatives. And when I was like a teenager, I knew every single one of my cousins. Now, dude, I got hundreds of cousins out in the Midwest. That's just what happens with life. And it gets out of control. Well, not out of control, but life finds a way. People want to live. That's the Creator's plan, to have human beings on the earth. I would love to know them all, and one day I will know them all. But I'm going to say, I'll send him the letter too. I'll send you the letter, and you send it around. I'm going to have to force myself to sit down and write it, though. I've got it all in my head. Trust me, ready to go. I mean, where do you think these Bible studies come from? Just real fast. When I did not want to go on live TV, public access here in Richmond. Well, I love doing it. And I told my dad no, and I would take my Bible studies down there, and the guy, Michael Thury, great guy, man. And they were all African American, all the volunteers. So it was right downtown Richmond. And they were all like brothers, man. Akil and Muhammad and Mike Theory and all that. They helped me, and they got, and Mike's like, come on, man, you got to do this. He talked me into going on live TV, and I didn't want to go. And I'm sitting in the chair the first time, and I'm like terrified. There's my dad with the camera, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And they had a big clock right over the camera, and I'm looking at the clock. It went, cheek. That hour was over just like that. I did not have a problem with talking for an hour, and I can't shut up. That's the problem. I've got too much to say, and I have to edit myself. And that's why I like doing these, because I don't have to sit there and, worry. I got, like when I was on the radio, I had 24 minutes the first half and 24 minutes the second half. And, I got the engineer telling me, hey, man, you got 5 seconds. And so I don't have that pressure sitting here right now. The problem is I have to edit it later. I cut all this stuff out. A lot of stuff no one ever sees. So, but yeah, going down and getting out the message and telling people, hey, look, and live TV, live radio, these studies. Got everything. Just the only thing I have to do for the podcast is just sign up for the service. I've got it. Everything. I got 4 cameras sitting here looking at me right now, or 3 and whatever. That's just for the podcast that I'm getting ready to open up. And the technology. My iPhone 17. Verizon made me a deal on that phone. That phone is like 20 times higher quality than my digital cameras, and I can edit the video on the phone. And it looks better, and it's astonishing to me. So that part of getting this like emergency letter out to people, and it's like, hey, look at the beast rising up out of the sea. I'm going to stand on the TV6 tower and scream with the megaphone. I know. I'm competing with cat videos and AI, right? How am I going to get through with that? Get through it? I can't, except unless the Creator does it. I had a guy last year out of the blue from New Zealand send me an email. Okay? When I first started, I had people all over the world writing me. They sent me snail mail. So, but those days are long gone. Because, you got, young kids come up, and as a flight instructor dealing with younger kids, man, they are so smart. Like, I have a 16-year-old student, and I was talking to his dad. And his dad's younger than me. I said, how is he so smart? I had a 15-year-old student. She graduated Air Force Academy, got a full, complete ride. I used to just sit there and marvel how smart they are. Because they have all the technology, and they have the mind, and, they can do things with video and camera. So everybody's putting out content. And it's good, and I'm learning. I watch them. I learn, like, hey, can I do that on my videos? But there's so many, I can't compete. I'm not trying to compete. I shouldn't say it like that. It's just like a barrage of content, and I'm trying to get this true bread out to people and say, hey, look at this, right? Look at this thing coming up out of the sea. There's the giant Trump smashing boats right in the Persian Gulf. That's the beast power. And people are like, okay, that's cute. What's for lunch? Kind of deal. So like, hey, and I'm sitting here now tonight, March 13th, 2026. I haven't got to what I want to say yet about what's about fixing to happen. So hey, look, wake up, watch, pay attention to what's going on. See, that's how my mind works from flying and aviation. You can't sit in a plane and not know what's going on, because you will die. You will die. That's why I tell my students, hey man, you need to pay attention to what I'm telling you. I'm trying to keep you alive. This ain't fun and games. Flying's fun. I love it, but hey, This is the real deal. You're in the air, in a machine. You gotta pay attention and think. You can't have like the Donald Trump syndrome with the cognitive dissonance in your mind. You gotta the same way with you tonight. You gotta watch, and you gotta be aware. Do you love your family? Do you really? Okay, prove it. You gonna warn them? Go ahead, go warn them. Say, hey, there's this guy, this redneck dude in Mechanicsville saying Donald Trump's the king of the North, and he's gonna do all these things. Why? He's been saying it since 2005, right? Not about Trump, but about the king of the North, the king of the South, kings from the East. I have been, and before, and it's happening exactly not like I'm saying. It's happening exactly like this book says, which is astonishing to me. And like I said, I got here because of my mom and dad. Not because one day I said, I think I'm just going to buy $5,000 worth of computer equipment and do a podcast. No, people. I don't know if it's $5,000. I just made that up. It could be. I've been buying equipment since I started Trooper in 2005. So, but anyways, this. There's 3 hours of notes on that page. I haven't even looked at it yet. Okay. First off, I'm not a superstitious dude, okay? You can't really be superstitious reading scripture like Friday the 13th tonight. Black cats and, spells from witches, and it's Friday the 13th and bad things are going to happen, but it is Friday the 13th, okay? And I'm not, like I said, I'm not suspicious. I'm not going into that. Someone pointed it out to me. But there's something else. Okay, it's not just Friday the 13th. Something's coming up in 2 days. It's called the Ides of March. And I remember when I was in junior high school or high school reading English, we had to study Shakespeare. Back in the day when they really taught you stuff, had to study Shakespeare and his plays and Julius Caesar. And here, this is true. Caesar was he was the first Caesar. His last name was Caesar. That's where the term comes from. It means ruler now. Trump is a Caesar, okay? But that was literally Julius Caesar's name, Caesar. Well, they killed him because he rebelled. He crossed over the Rubicon. He came in and he told Rome, I'm coming to take over. And he did. And he won. He's victorious, but they killed him. Stabbed him in the back. Et tu, Brute, right? That was the Ides of March, the middle of the month. What is the 15th? That's 36 hours away or less right now. All right? And like I said, I'm not being superstitious. This is real. This is when they killed Caesar, and of course that was because they were superstitious in Rome, and they weren't. The theory is that on the Ides of March, bad things happen less than 36 hours away. I'm not making that up. That's not my suspicious beliefs. I'm saying that's what society does, and that's what I expect Satan to do and to use: witchcraft, sorcery, astrology, dates, events. Everybody wants to say, oh, it's the Ides of March. Oh, it's Friday the 13th. Something bad's going to happen. Well, man, maybe it is. I'm not correlating that with Scripture, but I'm saying, hey, we need to be, because that's the day of Quds, Quds. That's the day that the Muslim author wrote, not me. I didn't know anything about it until he put the post up. He said, hey, we think, because they're moving the Jews away from the Temple Mount, the so-called Jews, and the so-called Temple Mount, it's all a lie. But they're getting their people away, and the guy's like, why are you evacuating the people? What do you think? Like 9/11. You know about that? I don't want to go down that path. Let's say a bunch of Zionists got alerts not to go to work that morning. Okay? Why were there 5 Mossad agents filming the World Trade Center that morning, and they got caught by a woman, turned them in? Why? How did they know? What do you mean, how did they know? What are you, dense? I mean, seriously? You haven't got that figured out yet? Listen, people, I was working as an airline pilot on 9/11, okay? I know a little bit about it, changed my entire life. And I don't want to say, I can't turn to like Daniel 11 and say 9/11 is in Scripture, because it's not. But when it kicked off, most certainly is in Scripture. That did kick off Daniel 11, verse 40 through 44. The Greater Israel Project. Wesley Clark going to the Pentagon a few days later and being told we're going to attack Iraq. Wesley Clark was a four-star general. And he knew people in the Pentagon. He went. And the officer said, "Hey, sir, let me show you this. We're gonna attack Iran." And Wesley Clark's like, "Why?" And the guy said, "Oh, I don't know. This is like a week or 10 days after 9/11 that Wesley Clark went in there. And they didn't know why they were going to attack Iraq. What does that sound like, right? That's a plan. Even the military didn't know it. In the Pentagon. The guy's like, "We don't know." And then he went back a short time later and talked to the same guy in the Pentagon as a four-star general. He may have been retired, but then I don't think he could be retired. He couldn't have got in. So he had to be a four-star general to get in there to the Pentagon. And the guy said, sir, you're not going to believe this. And Wesley Clark's like, "What?" He said, "We're going to attack 7 countries in 5 years." So he listed them off, like Egypt, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, whatever they are. And he got down to Iran, the very last one. What am I sitting here talking about? And then we had the Wolfowitz Doctrine that says no other power anywhere on the planet, anywhere on this planet, will ever rise to challenge the United States hegemony. You understand? What is that? What is that? Right? It's the beast rising up out of the sea. This all happened after 9/11, people. This is only 25 years ago now? Coming up on 25 years? It seems like a long time ago, but not to me it doesn't. Let's just say I'm better than I was. So, but I know, and I'm see, it's like I said, hey, look, there's that beast rising up out of the sea. Look what they're doing. And look at the effect of what happened. Wolfowitz Doctrine, Wesley Clark, 7 countries in 5 years, Patriot Act, NDAA, losing your civil liberties, TSA. I almost quit. I've been flying since I was 14 years old. I've lived my entire life wanting to be an airline pilot, and I was. Hard road to travel to get to that job. And I loved it. It was here in Dulles Airport. And when I would go through security, not me, all of us, if you have your uniform on, they treated you like royalty in security. And then after 9/11, man, they looked at you like you were robbing a bank if you got a airline uniform on, like you were a criminal. And that's how we were treated. I almost quit. I couldn't stand going. I almost got into a fist fight. I had a guy grab me, a TSA agent grabbed me and pulled me, and I almost clocked him as hard as I could right in the mouth. And I saw 2 soldiers with automatic weapons right there, 5 feet from where I was. And I told myself, it's not worth it. I had my hand ready to go. He grabbed me, pulled me. I was just going to go boom. I would have knocked him right out cold because he just had his mouth sitting right there. I would have clocked him. But I didn't. And I thought, that's it. And that was it. Because after that happened to me, I was like, I'm out. And I did. I left. I don't want to go into the story. I was going to fly that plane sitting right there. I had the next class in that plane. So, yeah, I know a little bit about 9/11. So you look at the fruit, what's going on all the way through, and True Bread did not exist on 9/11. I was in a religious group, Garter Armstrong, did not know that True Bread was coming, had no clue, and that was the path I'm on. And I was with William F. Dankenbring in his group, and a little old lady kept bugging me, and she wouldn't leave me alone. And I liked her. She was nice, and she was very polite about how she was going about things. And she told me, people, from the depth of my heart, I'm telling you the truth. I was in the airlines when I was an airline pilot talking to this lady at a holy day for William F. Dankenbring in Wichita, Kansas, and she said to me, 9/11 was an inside job. And I had never heard that before. from anybody. And I'm like, look, life got out of me. I thought she was insane. I mean, literally, I was offended. I was shocked. Like, what are you talking about, woman? And then she goes, well, here. And she kept trying. She kept trying. She goes, watch this. And I'm like, just to get you to leave me alone, all right? I took her. She gave me a DVD to watch. And I got home and watched it. That was it. It was like one of the very first documentaries on 9/11 back in the day. And it was called In Plane, Plane Sight. And that was it. I watched it one time. I was done. Could not believe it. Because I like prove all things. That's how I am. Prove it to me. Just don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Prove it to me. Well, that DVD proved it to me. Here we are. That and the TSA and what I went through with PTSD and getting, I was like, I can't take this anymore. I used to love going to my job. I loved the people I flew with. It was like my family. And I'm like, that was it. It ruined it. It completely, I hated going up there. It was a bitch of a drive up 95, people. You got no idea. You try to get to Dallas Airport. I don't care what time of day it is. Unless it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Had to do with that job. So, yeah, and I'm like, no, I got to get out of here. And I did. I left. And thank the Lord. And that's right before TrueBred started. And that's like, it overlapped about 6 months. My airline career and TrueBred overlapped about 6 months. And I was doing it. I was flying and doing TrueBred. So, 9/11, now here I am talking about the effects of that day. Not just 9/11, but certainly that day. Wesley Clark, Wolfowitz Doctrine, the Greater Israel Project, Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu. See, people, I haven't even got my notes yet. A couple nights ago, from doing a Bible study, I was talking about Esther. So I said, because I hadn't read it for a long time, so I'm going to read it. It took like 15 minutes. It's very short. Esther is very short. I read the whole thing. And I just came away with 2 profound things from Esther. Let's just look at that real fast if I can find it. So I wish my dad was here. He knows right where. I don't even know where Esther is in here. Like, I just type it in my phone anymore. Job. Here it is. I knew it was by Job. So the story, Esther become queen. Mordecai was her adopted father. And this thing happens with Haman, and Haman hated Mordecai. So since he hated Mordecai so much, he wanted to kill all the Jews. Well, Xerxes did not know that Esther was a Jew, and she told him. And she told him on the risk of her being killed, and she did, and he didn't kill her. And Mordecai says, this is Esther 4, verse 14, for if you remain completely silent at this time, I cannot remain silent, people. I'm sorry if I get loud sometimes, man. I am terrified. I'm not going to lie to you. This is terrifying, okay? I'm sitting here thinking about how I'm going to warn my family. I told my sister, get your nephew, get your son home. Everybody get close. That's what's coming up in the letter. I didn't know I'd be doing this tonight. I was going to go get some chicken wings and dinner and go to bed. I'm exhausted. And I'm sitting there, Trump, I'm destroying Kharg Island. Thank you for your attention to this matter. YMCA, right? Look at my big, I got such a big, beautiful ballroom, and you gotta go see Melania's movie. The people, I am not making this up. You gotta go see her movie. It's such a great movie. And I'm bombing Kharg Island. You understand the dichotomy of that mindset? How horrific that is? And he's up there, YMCA, yeah. That's a homosexual theme song. That's like the greatest fag anthem that there is. I just learned today, this guy Steve Bessett, that creep. That guy's a weird dude. He's married to a man. It's like, what is Trump thinking? Yeah, does MAGA love the fact that he surrounds himself with people like Paula White and homosexuals? That's just the side of what I'm saying. He can't hide his fruit. So anyways, if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for us from another place. But you, this is a warning, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows, Esther? Right? Mordecai raised her from a baby. Who knows whether you have come to this kingdom for such a time as this? And she did her job. And she kept the lineage of the Messiah alive. That's why it's in the Bible. Satan was after the Messiah. Don't get that wrong. Do not make that mistake. He knew. You know Satan knows the lineage of the Messiah. I guarantee you, Satan watched Adam and Eve every moment all the way down to the Messiah to make sure he could defeat the Messiah, but he didn't. You understand? Satan's going to be destroyed in the lake of fire. He's a spirit being. This is what I'm sure terrified the angels when they saw the Messiah. Spirit to human. Okay? What does that tell the other angels? If the Messiah, who was a spirit being, a deified spirit being, can be made physical, what about them? The Creator has the power. Now the Messiah now, after his resurrection, he can never die again. That's it. He was successful. That's a whole different, that's a huge theological topic, what I just said. I can't even begin to talk about it. The point is that the Messiah was a non-eternal spirit being, an angel, who became flesh. Well, what does it tell you about the other angels that they know now? They can become flesh. Well, what about Satan? The Creator is going to turn him into a fleshly human being and throw him in the lake of fire. That's right. I'll have to put that on the tape later. I wasn't planning on saying that. You will become ashes under the feet of the believers. He's going to be turned to ash, like Trump and Pope, and there's a lake of fire for a reason, people. That's not hell. I don't want to go down that path. People, if you ever seen something get burned up, like you throw something into a really hot fire, like a beer can or aluminum can, it just melts. That's what's going to happen to people. They're not going to suffer. They may feel one instantaneous split second of pain, but they're just going to be evaporated. Heat will just evaporate. Human body is nothing. It'll just evaporate. If it gets so hot, you just turn to ash. You probably won't even feel it. And you're certainly not going to know anything after that, because that's it. You're gone. That's the fate of Satan and Trump and the Pope and Matthew 25 and the goats and everybody else who wants to go, be stubborn, recalcitrant jackasses. I've said for years that there are going to be people at the end when they're judged. They're going to go hop, skipping, and jumping, laughing into the lake of fire because they hate the Creator that much. I'm not making that up. It's horrible. I don't want to see anybody go in the lake of fire. There's a whole. I can tell you things right now you would not be able to sleep. I'm just not going to start that. I've got to do what I'm doing here right now. So such a time as this. Such a time as this. Was True Bread started, This is real, people. I'm not making this up. I've had it my whole life. Did the Creator know something I didn't know in 1968? About tonight? About me sitting here? I don't know. You ask him. But I am. Such a time as this. That's the way that it is. Thank the Lord Almighty for that. What an honor. What an honor. You too. Like I said, you can tell your family. Such a time as this tonight. Wait till I get into my verses. So, man, that's just profound. Now let's get into it, okay? Trump's attacking Kharg Island. He was warned not to do that. No telling what's going on right now. They could be evaporating Tel Aviv. They have the power to do this. Of course, listen, people, I've flown with military pilots for a long time. I've flown with F-15 pilots. I've flown with F-18 pilots. I've flown with the Blue Angel lead pilot. I've flown with people who have flown Air Force Two with the Vice President, One of my examiners trained the helicopter pilots on Marine One and gave them check rides. So I know what I'm talking about. Those military, this is F-15, F-18 I'm talking about, those guys and girls are extremely sharp, excellent pilots. You don't get there. Number one, you got to be a very, very good pilot. Number two, you got to be a killer. They're not going to give you an F-15 if you're not a killer. You got to go kill. That's why they have F-15s and F-18s and B-2s and B-52s. If you don't want to kill, you're in the wrong business, and they'll weed you out. You're not going to get into an F-15 as a pacifist. You got to be a bloodthirsty killer, and they are. So when this whole thing started with the second time, see, people forget it that this nation's been at war. We are a war nation. We've been at war with Iran since last June. It didn't stop. I knew it wasn't going to stop. It went away for a few months. Now it's back. It's like Trump winning the White House again. Now he's back. Now the war is back. It's not stopping this time. This is it. When it very first started, like the first day, I'm talking about after February 28th, I did that emergency Bible study. I think the next day or the day following, 3 F-15s were shot down. Right? And so friendly fire, my ass. They were shot down out of the sky, and the truth started coming out. First they said friendly fire, then he said, oh, it's Kuwaitis shooting off anti-aircraft missiles. No, it was F-18, Kuwaiti F-18 shot 3 F-15s down in one day, in one flight. That came out. And now they're trying to say, I mean, people, I hate hearing about pilots crashing and planes crashing. It tears me up inside. And they're my brothers in wings, in feathers. They're my brothers and sisters. Flyers are brothers and sisters together. It's a lot of risk involved. They shot down a tanker, a KC-135. You know what tankers do? Right? Tankers feed the fighters. Without the tankers, there's no fighters. Fighter jets, to do their fighter jet job, they suck so much fuel, they can't even cross the Atlantic without tankers. No chance. No way. It's way too far for a fighter. They've got to sit on the tanker and get refueled constantly all the way across. They burn fuel too fast. Well, if you start taking out the tankers, they shot one down, another one crashed, 2 in one day. They lost 6 people, 6 pilots or 6 crew that was shot down. Iran saying, yeah, we shot it down, do it again. Over Iraq, not Kuwait. Now this is Iraq. Of course, now I heard, oh yeah, friendly fire. Then they say it wasn't friendly fire and it wasn't enemy fire. My ass. Do you think they're going to tell you the truth? And then a second one got hit but landed. Was it okay to land? And then, right before the Bible study sitting here, I read that Iran hit 5 tankers on the ground in Saudi Arabia getting ready to depart. And they destroyed 5 tankers. You're not going to hear that on the news. No way. You take out 5 tankers, how many fighter jets have you grounded? That's what I'm saying. Iran's kicking their ass in ways they don't even know. Trump is too stupid. Pete Hegseth is too stupid. They can't see the law of unforeseen circumstances. They don't know Iran's been there for 2,700 years as a nation under Cyrus the Great, and they've been waiting and waiting and preparing, like the interview the guy did, the Iranian ambassador or whatever, and the interviewer said, well, don't you know we're going to invade with troops? And the guy's like, oh yeah, we're ready. Bring it on. Go ahead. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're all ready. Go ahead, bring it on. Let's do it. And the interviewer's like shocked. You couldn't believe what he's saying. And the guy's like, yeah, we're ready. I'm just getting started. People, that's why I'm sitting here tonight. I just read that Hegseth said the Department of War, you talk about a beast rising up out of the sea, that they just authorized today the Marines, an MEU, to go into Iran and put boots on the ground, 2,500 Marines, and they said, on top of that, the 2,500 Marines are now going to have 2,500 Navy soldiers. Navy soldiers aren't ready to go into combat on the ground. They're sailors. They're getting desperate. They have no idea. Listen to me. Iran will evaporate 5,000 people in 20 minutes. They won't even get to the shore. They got those stupid, big, clunky... This is not World War II, people. Okay? Like in D-Day. To get the Marines from the Marines are on carriers. That's why we have Marines. That's their job. Like Thomas Jefferson, the shores of Tripoli, right? Marines are badass. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Marines. I would not want Marines showing up if I was the enemy. But they put them on these big vessels that go from the carrier to the shore. They're going to get evaporated. They won't even make it 20 minutes. Look, you think Iran's stupid? They're waiting. Like the guy said, yeah, go ahead. We got something for you, buddy. Go right ahead. Bring your Marines. We'll just sink them before they even get to the shore. That's their plan. I'll guarantee you that. Yeah, they'll send a $20,000 drone to sink that ship and kill all the Marines on it. Look, listen, like I said, I can't prove everything that I read online. I read, and this is like over and over, they've hit the Lincoln, and the Lincoln is having to limp back to the United States. And they said, oh, it's a fire in the laundry, or whatever they said. Oh, it was an accident on the deck. We have to bring if you bring the carrier back, you're bringing the submarine, and you're bringing the destroyers, and you're bringing the tenders, and you're bringing the fuel ships, all the supply ships. All of that's got to come back to the United States now. How do you think the sailors on the Ford feel about that? Those sailors on the Ford putting the sharks down the toilets had been at sea for 8 months. Now they're going into 9. They're going crazy. You imagine how small. When I flew with the Blue Angel pilot, the captain, number 1, he was offered an aircraft carrier. He said no. Because if you're an F-18 pilot, you're on an aircraft carrier. He goes, I'm not going back on that damn boat. He told me. He goes, no way I'm going. I don't care if I'm a captain or not. He would have been in charge of everything. The subs, the destroyers, the tenders, the fuel ships, the aircraft carrier, the fighter jets. Nope, not doing it. What does that tell you? To be offered aircraft carrier is like the pinnacle of being in the military. And he said, hell no, I'm not doing that. Are you crazy? I'm guaranteed. You imagine how tiny that aircraft carrier gets? There's 5,000 troops on that carrier. And they can't get away from each other. And they're going on 9 months. I'm guaranteed they're losing their minds and ready to rebel and cause mutiny and shove T-shirts down the drains. And they are. That's your fighting force, supposedly. So, now what I want to get to, this is my point, this is why I'm doing an emergency Bible study. I'm telling my family, probably tomorrow in a letter, and you too, you as well, that, now this is speculation on my part, okay, but I've read this, and I've said that here, sitting here, recently, that the Muslims expect that dome to be destroyed. Of course, that'll be a conflagration like you have no idea. Let me tell you, that dome is not just holy to Iranians, okay? I explained, I went through Muhammad and the horse and the rock, and they say that Muhammad left the earth from that rock on his horse, on his white horse Barak, and they venerate that dome, that rock, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. People are like 2 billion Muslims on the earth. What do you think they're going to do if that dome gets destroyed? Just get your mind around it. The absolute, such a time as this. Destroy the dome, see what happens. Right? So that's number 1, the dome. Well, we all know that. I mean, Tucker Carlson's talking about that. Like, if I taught my dog to talk, my old dog used to have, he would say, the Zionists are going to blow the dome up. My dog knows that, okay? I've been saying that on live TV since 2007. That someone's going to blow that dome up. How else are they going to build a temple? Because I love the temple. I love studying about the temple. Temple, all right? Like one of my favorite, temple involves Passover and the Messiah. That's why it's one of my favorite subjects. Okay? You blow it up, see what happens. They're going to. That's number 1. Number 2, which is ridiculous beyond. It's like people are so, like we have the internet and cell phones and communications. Now everyone knows 9/11 was an inside job. So everybody online, you go online, I'm not making this up, this is everywhere. There's going to be false flags. They were saying in LA that Iran, right, listen to me, that Iran was going to fly a drone 7,000 miles from Iran and attack a bank in LA. You think, now what does that tell you if you're like, oh, you see that bank building over there, right? And you work there? Iran's not going to fly a drone 7,000 miles. Someone's going to blow up a building in LA or some kind of false flag attack. They've been threatening this specific bank in LA, this big building. People, I'm not saying this. This is not even my own speculation. This is what I'm telling you I read. That's not speculation. I read this. I'm sure you have too. You've probably seen. It's, and sleeper cells. If they say an Iranian sleeper cell killed somebody, I will guarantee you that's CIA. Just like the first World Trade Center bombing or the FBI. It's ridiculous. They love to create these false flag attacks. A false flag is like the CIA or Mossad or the FBI. They will, like a Ruby Ridge or Oklahoma City or the Boston Marathon bombings or the tube bombings. I could go on and on and on. All the, the Lusitania sinking, the Bay of Pigs, just on and on. All these made up. They have to have, it's called problem, reaction, solution. They got to make these problems. Because they know that Americans are dumb, sleepy, ignorant people, don't care about anything except, who's playing football and NASCAR and what's for dinner. They know that. I'm the same way. I'm not knocking anybody. That's the people, the CIA, Mossad, and FBI. They know psychology. It's like I said about 9/11. Wesley Clark. The 5 dancing Zionists, how did they know? How did Building 7 come straight down? That was planned. He must call it a false flag attack. So that's what we're seeing here. Oh, Iran's going to fly a drone 7,000 miles and blow up a bank in LA. Really? You're just giving yourself away, man. Like, I'm not letting the cat out of the bag. This is well known. This is not, I didn't get like a vision, Friday the 13th, there's going to be a bombing. You don't know, people. I'm just telling you what I'm reading online that you can read yourself. It's obvious. Even like people like Tucker Carlson's saying this himself now. They're going to cause a false flag to get rid of the temple. See, there I go again. The Dome of the Rock. Tucker Carlson, like the biggest audience in the world, is saying what I've been saying since 2007 on live TV. Okay? I don't mind. Good for him. Yeah, get the word out, buddy. Don't just stop there. Go to there. Go to Fort Antonia and tell people that the temples were over the Guy Hound Spring. Take the next step. He's already talking about 9/11. Just started. I knew he would. It's like Paul Craig Roberts. Been all through it. So that's point 2. Dome of the Rock 1. False flag attack 2. What's 3? This I'm 100. That's why I'm sitting here right now. Tonight. If they got Netanyahu, which I think, my gut's usually right. I wait, I think, and I process. I think he's dead. I think they got him. Because they have their own spies and their own secret service. They know where people are all the time. I guarantee they knew right where he was. They killed him. That's what I'm reading online. They're going to nuke Iran. Trump attacking. When I saw this, people, I just saw this. It is 10:23. I just saw this at 8 o'clock tonight. Like I said, I was going to get. I told myself 8 o'clock. I'm going to get chicken wings, and I'm sitting here now. I'm not going to go get chicken wings tonight. I've lost my appetite, and I told myself, Kharg Island, Marines. Tankers getting blown up, Tel Aviv getting wiped out, Netanyahu's dead. We're down to the Samson option. Benjamin Netanyahu is not the only whack job lunatic in the Zionist government. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? There's probably people worse than him. They're going to nuke Iran. And Trump's going to be involved. He is going to know. And Pete Hegseth and Trump and Lindsey Graham and all these lunatic Zio freaks out there they're just dying. Like Pete Hegseth said, out of his own mouth, we're going to kill all the Iranians. He said they have no idea what's coming. That we're not going to stop till they're all dead. He said that. I'll try to get the exact quote. He's an idiot. He is a person under the control of Satan the devil to say these things, just like Trump. Like I said, you can't make this up. Like, wow, who is this guy? What is this mega? Right? Make America great again. Bring our troops home. No more war. We're gonna have the biggest, most beautifulest country in the world, and I'm gonna build a beautiful bar room, and we're gonna have our 250th birthday and go see Melania's movie. Well, I'm gonna nuke Iran. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to do it. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dear God Almighty, can wake up tomorrow, they could be nuking Iran. It's almost the 15th, people. I'm not being melodramatic. I'm not being extreme, hyperbolic. This is real. I didn't make it up. I didn't write the article about the Dome of the Rock being destroyed. I didn't write about the bank in LA being hit with the false flag attack. I didn't say that Benjamin Netanyahu was going to nuke Iran. That's what they're saying. Tucker Carlson's saying it. Of course, I've been dealing with this since 2005. Had no idea in 2005 that I'd be sitting here saying the words coming out of my mouth, but they are. Like such a time as this. You want me to shut up now? Are you insane? I got a family I got to worry about, man. I mean, I love my family, and they love me. I wouldn't even be here without my family. I had a rough year. I would not even be alive without my sisters helping me. I'm not. That's just the way that it is. I was ready to die last year. I had a health issue, and the Creator has been healing me and bringing me through. I've had great doctors. I've had surgery. I've had to go through all these things, and I've had every test you can imagine: MRI, CT scans, blood, IVs, everything. Rehab. Because my legs and it just. But I'm here. I'm getting healthier and healthier and healthier. I would not be here without my family. I know that, and my friends, and the Creator, and healing, and the doctors, but I am here, and I love them, and I'm like, I'm trying to get to the Apostle Paul if I can keep talking. I love my family, and I love people, and I love believers, and I love the Creator, and I love the Messiah, and I have affection and love, and I mean it. Why? I could be right down the street drinking a beer, having chicken wings right now. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I could be. You see, no, I choose this. I choose this. Such a time as this. I have, it's kind of terrifying. You have to sit here and say the Dome of the Rock's going to be hit with a missile from the Zionists. They're going to have a false flag attack in LA and blow up a bank, and they're going to nuke Iran. You think that's like comforting to me? No, it's not. It's terrifying. And I've got to worry about warning my family and my friends and my relatives and everybody else who will listen. And you. And there are people watching, I don't even know who they are. It's been blowing up. And that's up to the Creator. Like I've said. I put it out of my mouth and then it goes out and that's up to the Creator. And whoever. That's why I don't want a group. I don't want your money. That's my two rules. I don't want anybody following me around. And you're more than welcome to watch. And I hope you did watch. But I don't follow me around. And I don't want your money. Can't stand it. As opposed to that Satan-possessed whore, Paula White. Ungodly, unbelievable, if you watch that woman. It's like Kenneth Copeland. These people. Man, they are terrible. I grew up in cults. I can identify it like that. Like I said, just don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. I said this a couple in a last Bible study or the Bible study before, and I couldn't find the verse. And I knew what I wanted to say, and I knew there was a verse, but I forgot about it, and I cannot believe I forgot about it. But what I want to tell you and my family, okay, and I just said this in the tape, in Bible studies. Don't be afraid, okay? I mean, it's scary. I admit. But if you have wisdom to see, like I had, when 9/11 happened, I had some real problems, psychological problems going on inside of my head. And I didn't know what it was. It was PTSD, but I didn't know that I had it. But when I started learning about what happened, it all went away. That I started having this anxiety and this fear. I would just break down crying. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I didn't know. I thought I was losing my mind, but I guess I was. But then I started learning, and that woman gave me the DVD, and I was like, wait a minute. Wait. And that all evaporated. It's like a miracle. So don't carry that anxiety and this PTSD in your mind about what you're seeing. Don't be afraid. Have wisdom. That's the key. Wisdom means you understand what's going on. So this, and this is why I was mad at myself. I cannot believe I forgot this verse. It's in Daniel 12. Daniel was a little kid taken to Babylon, lived his life there, was getting ready to die, like 80-year-old man. He never went back. He lived his life from a teenager till the time he died in Babylon, under Nebuchadnezzar and Darius, and he died. And he was asking. And this is Daniel 12. And this is Michael. This says Michael, there was three archangels, not even the Messiah. Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer. Lucifer flipped out. So you got Michael and Gabriel, and they fight. They fight Lucifer. They fight Satan in battles, like in Persia. So this is happening in Persia. That's where Babylon and Persia. That's in the Fertile Crescent, Mesopotamia, the Tigris and Euphrates River, where Abraham was from. The Sumerians, Ur. So he says, there's going to be a time of trouble. This was quoted in Matthew 24. Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And everyone who is found in the book shall be delivered. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life. What do you think I'm sitting here? Remember I said failure is not an option last time. Failure is not an option. For such a time as this. But some to everlasting contempt, lake of fire, the goats, Trump, Pope. I don't want to start putting curses on people, but that's what it says in Revelation 19. Not my words. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. That is our ultimate goal. To be immortal with the Messiah and shine like him forever and ever, and go into the stars forever and ever, it says. Like the stars forever and ever. That's a quote in Scripture. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, his prophecies, until the time of the end, right? Now, ask yourself. I'm sitting here talking about the dome being destroyed, false flag attacks in this country, and nuclear weapons being used. Does it sound like the end time to you? At the time of the end? Like in Revelation 13, verse 1? At the time of the end? Or Daniel 11? Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased, like I talked about with the internet and young kids and you have Grok and I use Grok very, very rarely. You have the entire universe. I got the entire known knowledge of mankind in this phone with the internet, with Wi-Fi. I can learn anything just like that. Knowledge is good and bad, okay? What you can do with it. But we have it, and I am accessing it. I have that brand new iPhone. I've got 2 digital cameras. I got 2 laptops right here. I got a brand new microphone. I got a brand new pad. I am using the technology to get this word out. Why not? There weren't podcasts in 2005. There wasn't even YouTube. Do you understand what I'm saying? I finally got a cell phone because of 9/11. It was a little flip phone that made phone calls. That's all that it did. It's like that big. It just made phone calls. Didn't even have a camera on it. Didn't even text. Now, how much has changed in the last 21 years, right, with technology? It says, this is going into prophecy in Matthew 24. And when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. Like the two witnesses at the very end of the 1,260 days, like I've recently been through. I'll go through it more later. He says, although I heard, this is Daniel, although I heard, I didn't understand. Then I said to Michael, my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And Michael said to Daniel, now this is face to face. Michael was coming as a human being, like Gabriel can do that. And Michael said to Daniel, go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. They're being unsealed right now, tonight, at the time of the end. I'm telling you. No one else is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not bragging. That's just the facts. You go tell me. Go tell Tucker Carlson. Hey, look what this guy's saying. I don't want to be on Tucker Carlson's show. I'm not going. I would never even do it. And that's not what I'm saying. You go tell them. These are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified, made white and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly. Now listen to me. And none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. You've got to have the wisdom. Where do you think wisdom comes from? I'm talking about real wisdom. I'm not talking about Elon Musk and Grok. I'm talking about real spiritual wisdom. That comes from the Holy Spirit and the Creator. None of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The wisdom takes away the fear. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Revelation 1. I'm gonna have to stop because I can't keep talking. Revelation 1 is one of my favorite chapters right here. That's why it's on this flag. This is a symbol for the Messiah. That's not the Messiah. It's a symbol of the Messiah. That's what John saw, 7 golden lampstands. That's why it's on this flag. Like I said about the Zionists and the rabbis, and when they realize that is a symbol of the Messiah, they're going to burn their flags. They hate the Messiah. They're too stupid. They killed him. They killed the Messiah. They're too stupid to figure that out. They don't read Revelation. They hate the New Testament. They hate the Messiah. They hate the Creator. They hate the Holy Spirit. They hate truth. They hate wisdom. That's why they're blinded. That's why they're going to build that satanic temple when they blow that dome up. They have no connection at all, zero, to spirituality, to truth, and to Scripture, and the Messiah, and the Creator. They reject. The Messiah said in John 8, you are of your father the devil. They did not know who their father was, the Creator. They rejected their own Messiah, their own flesh and blood Messiah. They knew him. They knew his family. They rejected him. Well, they've been rejected. They rejected themselves. Revelation 1, verse 17. And when I saw him, the Messiah, in his glorified form, I fell down at his feet as dead. But he laid his hand on me, his right hand on me, and said, do not be afraid. That's the point of tonight. For such a time as this, do not be afraid. Until the end time, wisdom, the wise understand. Do not be afraid for such a time as this. This is that time. The day is here, the time is now. Failure is not an option. I've said it over and over. I'll say it until I die, until the Lord comes back. We cannot fail. We've got to be successful. We have to have wisdom. Do not be afraid for such a time as this. He says, I am the first and I am the last. I am he who lives and was dead. He died as a human being. There was no get out of jail free card from the Messiah. It says, I was dead. This is the Messiah talking. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Now, what do you think our opportunity is? Doesn't matter if you die. There's no such thing as death. Get that out of your mind. From your own perspective, there's no death for you. For your own perspective, does not exist. That should take some fear away, or it should maybe terrify you. I don't know. However you look at it. Isaiah, the prophet, to the remnants of Israel in the land before they were taken. Verse 10, fear not. This is the Lord speaking to Isaiah and writing in his prophecies. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your Lord. Don't be afraid. Fear not. He's with us. He's the Lord. He is with us. Don't be afraid. Listen, if we weren't protected, if you were protected right now, and I wasn't protected right now, Satan would kill us, boom, instantaneously. Guess what? Whether you know it or not, or whether you like it or not, the Creator's keeping us alive. Read Job, the first couple of chapters of Job. He would kill all of us. That's his goal. Why do you think he wants to nuke Iran? He wants to nuke the whole planet. See, I got to be careful what I say. Satan, because I'll start thinking, Satan is sitting up and leading the world to Armageddon, to thermonuclear war, to kill all of us. What's going to happen? Messiah is coming back to kill the beast. You can read it in Revelation 19. The beast was thrown into the lake of fire. Messiah is already victorious. Don't think it's some kind of contest. Armageddon, they're not going to fight the Messiah. You can get that right out of your head. He's going to come back and liquidate them. That's not a fight. They're just going to melt right where you're standing. I just went through it. Zechariah 14. Boom, done. Melted. Gone. That's not a battle. The battle is between the king of the north and kings from the east for the oil. That's Armageddon. That's the final battle of mankind. That's where Satan's going to have the Samson option to kill all of us, but he's not going to be successful because the Messiah was successful, and Satan's going to get thrown like a fire and destroyed forever. That's why he's mad. He knows. And the Creator's allowing him to be here to do what he wants him to do, and he is. And we've got YMCA. Go look at Melania's beautiful movie in my bathroom. I'm going to nuke Iran. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? He's crazy. He's possessed and controlled by Satan the devil. People, when I get up here from this chair and go online, I got no idea. Maybe I'll have to do another Bible study. Maybe I'll be awake all night long. I am terrified of what I'm going to learn when I finish this Bible study. I'm not being hyperbolic. I mean it. I haven't even been able to sleep. I'm lucky if I get 2 hours. 2 hours. I can't. My mind will not stop. It will not shut off. Sleep a little bit, get some food, Bible study, edit. That's what I've been doing. You know? The day is here. The time is now for such a time as this. I have life in my flesh and blood, in my body. Why not use it? I have the equipment. You know, I've got the internet until maybe 36 more hours. Listen, if they start launching nukes, this may be the last Bible study you ever see out of me. I'm not trying to be melodramatic. I mean it. What if they just shut everything off? We know that's coming. I mean, they're making. I don't want to go into that. That goes into Agenda 21, CBDC, ICLEI, 15-minute cities, no cash, 666, all of it. That's where it's here. That's where we're living in. And I don't want to be shut off, but I have got a feeling I'm going to be shut off because they're going to turn everything off. And that could happen in 36 hours. I do not know. I'm not making a forecast or prophecy. I'm just saying, hey, if they start lobbing nukes around, it ain't going to just be in Iran, people. Such a time as this. (1975) in prophecy, 1968. Think I knew? When I was sitting in my house in Elizabeth City as a 6-year-old child? Really? I didn't ask to be here. Don't ever make that mistake. I did not ask. I'm glad I am. I'm thankful to the Messiah and the Creator that I am sitting here. Didn't ask for it. I told my dad he's crazy. Literally. If he was here, he'd tell you the story. I told them no way in hell. I quit all religion. I went to the airlines. I said to hell with that. I started dating women and partying and flying and doing whatever the hell I wanted to, and it just wouldn't stop. And the thought came. I was rebelling. I wasn't rebelling against the Creator. I was rebelling against these jackasses, these terrorists who had traumatized me and my family. I was rebelling against them, and the Creator's like, to me, in my mind, is that really fair, Todd? Are you going to be just such a stupid, dumb jackass? Is that what you're going to do? Is it fair? This is what I felt from the Creator, from the Father. It's like, wait, it's not my fault, right? It's not his fault. It's like Paula White. It's not the Creator's fault. Kenneth Copeland. These lunatics, man. These John Hagee. They're just insane. Then the problem is, this is they're hurting mankind. That's why I'm talking about them. They hurt people. They think they're right, and they will not listen. It's called being dogmatic. They won't listen and they won't change. Well, there's one option after that. That's blaspheming the Holy Spirit. The only option after that is lake of fire. Don't be like those people. Don't follow those people. Look, if I sit here and say something, you better prove, number one, online what I'm saying, and number two, from Scripture. Otherwise, you're insane. I wouldn't even trust me. Like when I teach people flying, especially like commercial and flight instructors, I tell them, I say, you know what I ask them, because I'm trying to teach them, right? I say, what do you think the scariest thing, and this is real, I'm not making this up. What is the scariest thing there is in an airplane to me? If I'm flying the plane, what's the scariest thing there is? And you're thinking, traffic, weather. I say, no. Me. If I get into an aircraft and fly, and I'm flying the plane, and I take off, I'm the scariest thing there is in that plane. That's what you have to think about it. You got to be very careful. Don't follow Paula White and Kenneth Copeland and John Hagee and all these lunatic Christian Zionists, or don't follow Schneerson, or don't follow Netanyahu, or don't follow Trump. You follow your Creator. You follow the King. You follow the Messiah, or you're going to die. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you to get through? Such a time as this. The day is here, the time is now, and you got to decide. There may be nukes going off. We've got to make some decisions. You do, I do, all of us do. Don't be afraid. For such a time as this. So the disciples were trying to cross the sea without the Messiah, and their boat sinking. The boat was now in the midst of the sea, tossed by waves, and the wind was contrary. And they saw the Messiah. They said, "It's a ghost!" And they were terrified. He said, "Be of good cheer. Do not be afraid. This is the Messiah. I'm coming to save you. Don't be afraid. It's me, Messiah. I'm walking on the water. I'm coming to get you. Don't be afraid. Calm down. Don't be afraid." Yeah, you're in the middle of the lake at nighttime and the boat's sinking. Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. I've had some pretty terrifying experiences flying airplanes, my friends. This is like right before he's going to get murdered. He's talking to the disciples. He says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives you, not as Donald Trump." Okay. YMCA, is that what you want? You want the nukes? Not as the world. Let not your heart be troubled. Neither let it be afraid. Don't be afraid. And brethren, family and friends and believers, the grace of our Lord, Joshua, be with your spirit. Amen.